got some more kale seeds. And I'm going to go out to the greenhouse and we're going to plant. I've already got some lettuce and spinach and a few other things planted out there. But I want to plant some more kale. Even though I got kale planted in my high tunnel, I still want to plant some in the greenhouse so that we have plenty this winter. I love having greens through the winter. It's just the best thing. And the winter times when you really need to, to have all them greens and all that good nutrition in your body anyways. But we're going to go let the chickens out too. It's so pretty today, I tell you. It's so nice. I think it's just about like in the lower 70s or something. It's really nice. You can hear the leaves underneath my feet. We're going to go let the chickens out. You can hear the ducks hollering at me. They're wanting out too. But I just got in from work. I've been coming in just a little bit earlier than Mr. Brown. I'm not having to wait on him as much anymore. And it helps me because I can come home and I can get some stuff done. So that helps a lot. So let's let the hens out. Are y'all ready to get out? Huh? Are y'all ready to get out? Come on. Come on. Let's get out. Let's get out and get us some bugs. Yeah, y'all aren't supposed to be up there. Y'all gonna get your wings clipped. Come on. Come on out. They're usually not that shy, really. Now we're going to go let the ducks out. It's so fun to let the ducks out because they like to, sun's hitting me. They like to take off and fly. Especially Mr. Brown, he loves watching them fly. Let's see if I can get, there you are. So we're going to go let the ducks out. It's so quiet up here on the hill. You don't hear no cars or nothing. Hey, ducky duckies. Hey, ducky duckies. Y'all ready to get out? Yeah, this is all the ducks we got left. The hawks have pretty much wiped us out. Come on. Come on. I know y'all want out. Come on. Come on. I'm not going to bother you. Come on. I'm not going to bother you. It's so funny. They got just a little swimming pool back there and they'll fly to it every time. But y'all have to understand these are wild mallards. They're not tame. So it's just what they're used to doing. My garden's really... The main garden's just pretty much gone. There ain't nothing left, except maybe a few gourds or something like that. And I guess I can take y'all around to the high tunnel. We'll see what's in there. I do have some stuff in there. And of course I close it up for the winter time, so that keeps me in some fresh greens and stuff. And there's the tomato plants are going crazy in there too. So we're going to go around here and see what we can get into. Ooh. Everything's just pretty much gone. Pretty much gone. I got some lavender down here that I'm fixing to harvest and dry. Oh my goodness, it smells good. And this is the front of the high tunnel. I'm trying to see what y'all are seeing. And I want you to look at this massive tomato plant. And it's still growing, and it's got a bunch of tomatoes in there. A bunch of tomatoes. And it's still got a bunch of blooms. So I don't know how many tomatoes, ripe tomatoes, I'll get out of it. But we'll see, especially once I close it off to where this right here is my little cherry tomato. Well, they're a black cherry tomato. And you can see they've grown plumb up to the top. I pick them pretty much about every day when we eat them. You can see my marigolds and all that stuff. We'll go around to the other side. Right here is my butterfly bush. It's still blooming, but I haven't been seeing any butterflies. I think they went with the hummingbirds. That's what I think. Not for sure. I think they did. You know, I quit putting, especially in our area. I'm just talking about our area. I quit putting hummingbird feed out because they need to move on. They need to migrate and move on. It's just that time of year here. So I hate to see them go, but you know, it's just, that's nature. They need to do what they need to do, and I don't want to hinder them either. So, but this is the other side of the high tunnel. Right here out front is my apple tree. It's a self-pollinated apple tree, but I'm thinking about planting another one there anyways, and I'm telling you, it's doing really good. And I've got kale coming up, and all my marigolds, and I've got herbs in there. I've got basil. I've got sage growing. Kale's coming up and looking good. On the other side of the fig tree, there's spinach. And then way off over there, there's some celery. And there's basil. Over here, there's some rosemary and lavender. And I need to get in here and kind of water everything, I think. But my fig tree, I bought really, really young. And it has really took off and grown. And I'm going to see if I can grow me some figs inside the fig tunnel. Okay, Lori, that's a new one. The high tunnel. And of course my apple tree, I'm fixing to do a little trimming on it. And I'm going to tie it up the way that I want it to grow. And stabilize itself. And we'll see if we get any apples one of these years, maybe. But right now, that's the high tunnel. That's just what's going on right now. And as time goes on, there'll be more greens and stuff coming up and growing. So anyways, I hope I'm not making y'all dizzy. We're going to go out to the greenhouse. And like I said, I'm going to plant this other kale that I've bought. I just try to grow as much kale as I can in the wintertime because we just need that. We need that in the wintertime. We need it any time, but, you know. Hey, chickadees. Hey, chickadees. Hey, chickadees, chickadees, chickadees. There's my young rooster. He's not very old. He still sounds funny when he crows. Hey, don't get off the porch. Shh. What are y'all doing up there? You know better than that. Get down off that porch. Shh. 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 Get down off there. Bunch of old giddies. They know better than that. You think growing up with chickens all my life, I'd be used to chickens getting on the porch and pooping everywhere, but I just can't handle it. I can handle a lot of things, but I don't like it. So we're going out to the greenhouse. I've already got some things planted. Nothing's come up, of course, because I just planted it. You see I got my sun oven over there. here's my lemon tree. And y'all, I mean, I don't know. My lemons are still, they're not getting huge still. They're not turning yet, but I read that it could take up to 9 months for lemons to turn yellow. So, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure, you know, here in Arkansas, I'm sure it's going to be different anyways. But I know a lot of y'all have lemon trees, and y'all know more about them than I do. But, so, I've got some stuff planted over here, and these are the plastic containers. I think they're the number 5, if I'm saying that right. Anyways, it's the ones that are not harmful or anything. The plastic. I always make sure of that, and I hope I'm telling you all right. But anyways, put me some good potting soil down in there, and then planted my seeds and put the top on. And it's staying really moist in there. And of course here in the greenhouse it warms up during the day, and it's just with that lid on there. This is how I grow a lot of stuff, and it comes on up, sprouts and grows. Let's see, in this one I've got lettuce. I wrote on the side, I've got lettuce and I've got dill. Over here I've got parsley, some cress, and spinach. And in here I've got kale and Swiss chard. I put my sun oven in here because it gets really warm in here, and it really heats this thing up. Of course, right now there's no sun here, but during the day it does really good. Now, I said I planted some cress, and I want to show y'all what I mean by cress. This is, if I can get it up there, it's Earth Care Seeds Upland Cress. It's a spicy cress. It's good for salads and garnishes. It's a fast-growing, 30 days, prefers cool weather, can grow indoors all year round. So I think it'll be good to throw in with my other greens when I'm eating a salad. You've ate watercress and stuff, you know, out in the wild. It says sow seeds in rich, soft soil, no deeper than 1/4 of an inch, and it prefers cool weather and partial shade in the summer. It'll germinate 5 to 9 days. Maturity is 30 to 50 days. It says harvest before flowering. So, it's a good thing. It's kind of a spicy, maybe. A little bit of spicy taste to it. Then my parsley, different stuff that I've already planted. But I'm fixing to plant some more kale in here. And this is it's from Marty Ross and Company. I ordered these off of Amazon. They put their little card in here. This is it's called Black Magic Dinosaur Kale. And it gets really big. So I'm going to be planting some of it. And I've got a container here. A plastic one that I'm going to. But I need to see make sure it's the number on it before I plant in it. And then I've got this little wooden box that I'm going to put, I'm going to line it, so then I might plant some lettuce or something in it. And the greenhouse is doing pretty good. I mean, we ain't got a lot going on out here. Y'all are way up in the air up there. I'm trying to get y'all down here. But I will have quite a bit going on. Enough to keep me and Mr. Brown fed. And I do love my greenhouse, I have to tell you. I love just being out here, period. It just, you know, does something for my soul, I can tell you. I also have my mesh hanging dryer right here. And I know some of y'all have seen this already. And this is how I dry a lot of my herbs and stuff like that. I also have put dried vegetables and fruit and stuff out there, apples. Mr. Brown's got some mullein leaves in here right now that he's trying to dry. And it works really well. The thing of it is, putting it out here in the greenhouse, it doesn't take as long. So you really, well, I'm going to show you for example. This right here is oregano. And I left it out here too long. And it's too dry. I mean, I can use it, but you can see how brown it is. It really, you don't need to leave it out here. You need to put it in the morning and the next morning check it. If it's not dry enough, but you just need to keep an eye on it. I mean, I can still use this. It's just kindly left out here too long, so I really need to get it out. But that does work. So, in all these, I've got me some greens going. I've already got my light up here in case I need to use it. I hardly ever have to use it at night unless it gets below freezing. But my little greenhouse serves its purpose, especially when I am trying to start my plants, my little plants and sets and stuff for the spring. I had so much going on here before spring. I had so much growing. It was unreal. I didn't have to buy any plants or anything like that. And this is my Yoder Belt greenhouse, and I just love it. Come out of Mansfield, Arkansas. And I'll be putting some of my plants out here that I keep on my porch. They'll come out here. They'll be okay till maybe really bad freezing weather, and then I'll try to cover them up, or I'll take them in the house, one or the other. I just don't have room in the house to keep all my plants, that's for sure. So I'm going to see about planting some of this kale. And this is the company I bought it from off of Amazon. So I've never bought these before, so we'll see. See how well they germinate. I always like to keep my seed packs for just a little while so I can remember what kind I planted. And I can pretty much look at the brand name and I can tell usually where I bought them from too. Sometimes, not all the time. And I always keep my little labels, because if I don't label my seeds, I'm in trouble, because I will forget what I planted in each little thing. If you'll look on the bottom of your container, and a lot of people think that these little totes don't last very long out in the sun, and that is absolutely true. But I can tell you, I've had totes probably going on their third year, and by the third year, when you try to pick it up, they just kind of crumble. So it's not something that's long lasting for sure. But I'm going to put some soil on this. I've got a few little holes in the bottom, not exactly on the bottom, but kind of up the side about an inch. And I'm going to fill it up with some soil. plant this too thick because these get pretty big. I want to give them enough room to grow. I usually plant my kale and my spinach pretty thick, but this is dinosaur kale, so it's going to get pretty big. So I'm just going to water it again. And I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm also going to put me a tag so I don't forget what kind of I wrote Black Magic Dino Kale. Maybe that'll help me remember what I got in there. The rest of these seeds, I got plenty to session plant, so I can come back and I can plant more where I won't have it all coming up, you know, at the same time. I can have it at stages. And I think I've got enough condensation in these that I'm not going to have to water them for probably a couple more days the way it's looking. So they're doing really good. And I've already got some lettuce in here that's already sprouting. So this is a good thing, even inside of a greenhouse. Starting them just like this, it just germinates them faster. But once they germinate, I'll take the lid off of it because I won't need it anymore. And we'll just start planting here and there, and this place will eventually be full of greens and lettuces and all that good stuff. You know, if there's one thing that I guess I've always done all my life, and that was to make sure that Mr. Brown's supper was always ready and on the table when he got home. And when he was an over-the-road truck driver for 17 years, you know, he'd be gone a week at a time, but me and the 4 kids would be there on the farm. We had cattle. We had everything there was to take care of, plus, you know, school and activities and work, the farm, everything that goes with, you know, taking care of everything. I always made sure that supper time was supper time and everybody sit down and eat. I think it's very important. I know I see a lot of families nowadays that they want to go in there and cook a little bit and fix their kids' plate and even their own plates, and then they want to go in there and sit in front of the TV. Or they want to sit and be on their phone and eat supper, and nobody's really talking. I even see that in restaurants, and I think, how sad is this? Nobody's even looking at each other and talking to each other. And we wonder why the world is in the state that it's in. But we have to remember this too. Ever since the beginning of time, there has been trials and tribulations. There has been horrible, horrible things that happen. And big empires that absolutely fell to their knees. So it's just that I think the world has become a little spoiled. When I say that, I don't mean to be hateful. I consider myself a little spoiled on some things too. Sometimes I think I'm a little spoiled when it comes to, let's say, the heat. I grew up without air conditioner. My grandparents didn't have it. We grew up in an old farmhouse. Y'all have heard me say this before. And Grandma cooked on a wood cook stove, sometimes even in the summertime. I don't guess I ever thought I was going to burn up, but this is the deal. As kids, even, you know, whether it's summertime, you know, during school you was always in school. Summertime you was not in the house. you was always out doing something, doing your chores, or you was helping um, in the hay, like I said, taking care of the chores on the farm. Now, I can remember on Saturday mornings, me and Grandma, Saturday mornings was house cleanup day, and the house was never a mess. But it was the day that we dusted and we vacuumed and mopped. And then from that point, I was out of there. I went outside. And even I've been with Danny since I was about 13 and a half, going on 14. And he would work all summer. So it wasn't like we were able to be together, all day, every day in the summer, because he was cutting hay, baling hay. I mean, it was something all the time. And sometimes he would even come get me kind of late because he'd gotten in from work so late. And there was sometimes he just didn't come at all. And of course I understood that because I grew up on a farm too. And there was times that he would come pick me up and I'd still be out there feeding cattle. And he'd have to wait on me to come in. Boy, times have changed. Surely have. And I'm sitting out here behind the greenhouse. And down here, y'all going to see the poor pond. It's dry right now. I don't know if y'all can see it or not because I don't know what y'all are looking at. It's just a puddle down there. And those that have been with me for a while know that that thing was full at one time. It was running over. The spillway, it was beautiful. It had so much water in it. But this is, this part of the country where we live, and we've built several ponds. You're not guaranteed that it's going to hold right off the bat. So as time goes on, it will hold. We have put bentonite in it. He has his brother give him some sheetrock that you can throw, and it'll supposed to sink to the bottom and help seal up the bottom. But we don't worry about it because it'll seal itself. It's just a natural thing it goes through, and it will hold water. So it's just, you got to have patience. You got to have patience for a lot of stuff. But I love sitting out here this time of year. You can just kind of see the woods out there, the leaves on the ground. There's no traffic. You don't even hear traffic right now. Sometimes you'll hear the train off. Well, what it does is it comes through the holler and you can hear it. There's our summer garden right there, and you can see it's done. In fact, we took some of the fencing down, and the deer have been going in there and they've done ate all the bean leaves off and everything, and we're going to go in there sometime or another and get all that pulled up and get this fence down so we can go in there and clean all that up. And then we'll be amending all the soil and putting compost and stuff in there for the winter time, manure, stuff like that. It's just so peaceful. I wish everybody could experience this. I really do. People are so stressed out. They're stressed out now, but people have been stressed out for years. I know, I see it. I've seen it. It may be a little bit, worse right now, but not the worst that I've seen. But like I said, I think we've become spoilt. So when things really just, I don't know, when things just get beyond our control, what we believe in, I love my country. So does Mr. Brown. And we pray for it every day. Just like we pray for our children and our family and the world over, for those who are sick and fighting illnesses, those who are, just aren't as fortunate as a lot of people, those struggling with so many different things in their life. We pray for them. We pray for people going through any kind of abuse, neglect, um, the little children that are not being fed like they should be, the elderly who are being mistreated. We pray for them. And that's what I stand on, and that's what Mr. Brown stands on, is prayer. And y'all know that we have always been, I'm not a prepper, I'm a homesteader. And homesteading, that's just part of what you do. You keep your pantry full. You sustain yourself in any form or fashion, what you need to do to sustain yourself for anything that should happen. You should be able to live and sustain yourself. I could let what's going on in the world just really upset me and take over my life and my mind, and I refuse to do it. I'm not going to do it. Do I like it? No, there's a lot of things I don't like. But I refuse. The good Lord is going to see fit for what He thinks should happen, how it happens, and when it happens. And we're not going to know. But I trust in Him. Whichever way it goes, I trust in Him. I don't know if you can hear it, but somebody's calling cattle. People that live behind us are calling their cattle. But anyways, we just sit up here. Well, we don't sit up here. We go to work every day and come home. And there's probably no other place I'd rather be than right here on my homestead. So once we get here, we are just like, there's no other place I'd rather be. We're prepared. We're always prepared. But we don't worry and we don't get anxious about it. Our faith is too strong. It's too strong. He gives us the ability to do the things that we can do to sustain ourselves, to keep ourselves fed, to take care of ourselves, period. He gives us the ability to protect ourselves, to heal ourselves. It's just something you got to learn and something you got to do. Whether if it's 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whether if it was 20 years ago, because I can tell you, when my kids were young and I was back on the farm, I was doing everything that I'm doing now. Oh, I've learned a few new things, and I do practice it, and I do use whatever new sustainable idea that I've learned or come up with. But I'm not going to get on here and I'm not going to scare anybody. I feel like everybody has got the ability to do what they need to do. Maybe you just need the encouragement. But what I want to tell you is not to be scared. Don't fall into the anxiousness of it all, to being scared that of what if, and what's going to happen. I think the only thing that probably I really worry about, and here I am being a hypocrite saying don't worry, but I do think about my grandkids. They're so young. I just think about how's it going to be when they're in their 20s or 30s or 60s, or, you know, I hope they have the same. Um, I hope they're able to sustain themselves and take care of themselves the way that we have for many and many and many years. People have done this. People, this is not a new thing. People have took care of themselves and sustained themselves and prepared for many and many and many years. We just got lazy and got spoilt. And I'm talking about myself too. Going back to the heat, I've gotten spoilt about the heat. I think the older I get, I just can't handle it. Now, where we live right here, the humidity is so thick that sometimes you come out here, now not right now, it's beautiful out here right now, but sometimes you come out here when you want to go out and just really work in the garden, and the humidity is so thick you can't breathe, and it's just, I can't handle it anymore, so I just have to be careful, and but we are blessed where we live because we can grow a lot of crops. We're able to grow quite a bit, take care of ourselves. And we have a long growing season too. Probably not as long as a lot of people, but longer than a lot of people, that's for sure. So I think I need to go in there, and I think I'm going to warm up some leftovers from yesterday. I made some chicken and rice. I think I'm going to warm it up for supper. And I think I'm going to get on my email, maybe answer some emails. I also want to talk about my cookbook. Of course, y'all have heard that I'm out of cookbooks right now. I'm selling out just as soon as the printer sends them to me. And they just keep reproducing them, but they can only do it so fast, and they can only ship them so fast. So they're doing a great job. And I think around the 9th, and then again around the 20th, I'll have some books coming in. So, and some people have asked me if I've got 2 different books. No, I've got one book, one cookbook still. Oh, I can't wait to maybe start another one. And I'm hoping maybe as the winter goes on, I don't know. Maybe we'll get a bunch of snow and I can just sit around and I can write my second cookbook. And I have learned a lot from doing my first cookbook. What I would do and what I wouldn't do. So I've learned a lot, just like anybody else does. But I want my cookbook to be personal. I don't want to go through a middleman or nothing else. So that's the reason I do the way I do. I'm old-fashioned. I don't do much on credit cards at all. Sometimes I had to order some things online. I don't do debit cards at all. I don't do PayPal or nothing like that. My daughter, she does PayPal, but anyways, I'm just that kind of person, and I'm not going to change. That's just who I am.